Carl Jung, a prominent figure in the field of analytical psychology, offers a profound perspective on the concept of pleasure, especially when viewed through the lens of its darker aspects. Within Jung's framework, the dark side of pleasure can be understood as the shadow aspect of our psyche, those desires and urges that reside in the unconscious and are often repressed or hidden from our conscious awareness. Jung believed that every conscious impulse has an unconscious counterpart, often with negative or undesirable connotations. This shadow can manifest as an unconscious attachment to indulgence, excess, or addiction, as individuals seek pleasure to escape aspects of themselves they find uncomfortable or unacceptable. The significance of this perspective in exploring pleasure lies in Jung's concept of individuation, the process of integrating different parts of the self to achieve psychological wholeness. Recognizing pleasure's dark side is crucial, as it prevents us from being dominated by unconscious impulses and facilitates a more balanced and healthy relationship with pleasure. This awareness allows individuals to harness their impulses consciously, rather than being controlled by them. For example, consider a successful professional who is secretly addicted to gambling. While gambling initially provides pleasure and a sense of escape, it may also serve as a mechanism to avoid deeper feelings of inadequacy or lack of control, hidden within their shadow. Another example is an individual who engages in excessive shopping to feel temporarily empowered or fulfilled, while unconsciously avoiding confronting feelings of emptiness or low self-worth. These scenarios illustrate how unacknowledged aspects of the shadow can drive behaviors that have both pleasurable and destructive outcomes. In support of Jung's theory, some psychologists argue that awareness and integration of one's shadow can lead to a more harmonious and fulfilling life. However, this perspective faces challenges and controversies, including criticism from those who view Jung's theories as too abstract or lacking empirical support. Some alternative viewpoints suggest behaviorist or cognitive approaches to understanding pleasure, focusing more on observable behaviors and thought patterns rather than the unconscious. Ultimately, Jung's perspective on the dark side of pleasure is interwoven with broader discussions on self-awareness and personal growth. By addressing unconscious elements, individuals can better understand their motivations and tendencies, leading to healthier choices. This approach complements and enriches discussions on pleasure, emphasizing a deeper self-exploration and the potential pitfalls of ignoring the unconscious influences that shape our desires. The shadow aspect in Jungian psychology is a critical concept to understand when exploring how Carl Jung explains the dark side of pleasure. In Jungian terms, the shadow represents the unconscious part of the psyche, consisting of repressed weaknesses, desires, and instincts. It is the hidden, often uncomfortable or negative traits that one doesn't want to acknowledge, yet they are integral to the human psyche. When applied to the dark side of pleasure, the shadow explains why people might find pleasure in things considered taboo or morally questionable. They are externalizing the parts of themselves that they otherwise repress. The significance of the shadow in relation to pleasure lies in its ability to reveal the human tendency to derive delight from the forbidden. Recognizing the shadow can help individuals understand why they might be drawn to such pleasure, as it is not just the action itself that is appealing, but also the subconscious exploration of one's concealed feelings, instincts, and thoughts. To illustrate, consider someone who derives pleasure from extreme sports. On the surface, the euphoria from the adrenaline may be the result of pushing physical limits, but the shadow might reveal an underlying need to confront fear or rebel against a mundane lifestyle. Another example could be found in the popularity of horror films. People enjoy the thrill of fear from a secure environment, offering a safe space to engage with the dark and forbidden. Supporters of Jungian theory argue that engaging with the shadow is essential for personal growth and self-discovery. By exploring and understanding these shadow elements, individuals gain insights into their true selves and can achieve greater psychological wholeness. However, this concept does not come without its challenges. Some critics argue that the focus on the unconscious neglects the power of free will and rational choice. Others suggest that emphasizing the shadow might excuse morally questionable behavior, as actions born from these hidden impulses could be seen as justifiable explorations of one's psyche. In understanding the shadow in the context of pleasure, individuals may gain a more nuanced perspective on their desires, allowing them to explore and integrate these elements with conscious intent. This understanding can influence other aspects of the main topic, such as the ethics of pleasure and societal norms, by illuminating how and why people are drawn to certain experiences. The concept of the shadow, in examining the dark side of pleasure, offers a window into the complexities of human nature, a key stepping stone to achieving greater self-awareness and personal evolution. The dual nature of pleasure and the unconscious is a fundamental concept in Carl Jung's psychology, signifying the complex interplay between the conscious enjoyment of pleasure and its darker shadow side that resides in the unconscious. This concept suggests that while pleasure can be a source of happiness and fulfillment, it often harbors deeper, unconscious elements that can be destructive or unsettling. This duality speaks to the broader theme of Jungian psychology, which frequently explores the tension between opposing forces within the psyche. The significance of this idea lies in its ability to reveal how individuals navigate their desires and the hidden motivations that drive them. By understanding the dual nature of pleasure, we can gain insight into the ways in which our conscious experiences of joy might mask unconscious conflicts or unresolved issues. This awareness is crucial for personal growth and self-awareness, as it encourages individuals to confront and integrate their shadow aspects, leading to a more harmonious and authentic life. One real-world example of this concept can be seen in addiction. On the surface, indulgence in substances or behaviors may bring pleasure and escapism. However, according to Jung, addiction often reflects a deeper psychological distress stored in the unconscious. By addressing these underlying issues, individuals can achieve lasting recovery. Another example is in the pursuit of success and ambition. While achievement can be gratifying, the drive for success may unconsciously stem from compensating for feelings of inadequacy. This insight redirects the focus towards a more balanced and meaningful pursuit of personal goals. Some scholars and practitioners support Jung's perspective, emphasizing the transformative potential of integrating unconscious material into the conscious mind. By recognizing the shadow side of pleasure, individuals are better equipped to make choices that align with their true values, rather than being unconsciously swayed by hidden motives. However, this concept also faces challenges and controversies. Some critics argue that focusing too much on the unconscious aspects of pleasure might lead to overanalyzing and excessive introspection, potentially detracting from the simple enjoyment of life's positive experiences. Additionally, there might be alternative viewpoints suggesting that not all pleasurable experiences need to be dissected through Jungian symbolism. Ultimately, the dual nature of pleasure and the unconscious ties into other aspects of Jung's work, such as the individuation process, which involves integrating various components of the psyche. This integration enhances self-awareness and balance, allowing individuals to navigate pleasure's complexity with greater wisdom and intentionality, thereby achieving a more fulfilling and integrated life. In Carl Jung's analytical psychology, the persona plays a crucial role in mediating pleasure by acting as a kind of social mask that we present to the outside world. It represents our social identity, shaping how we consciously interact with others and manage our behaviors in various social contexts. Jung described the persona as necessary for everyday social functioning, but also warned against over-identification with it, which can obscure the darker, unexplored facets of our psyche, such as the hidden motivations behind our pursuit of pleasure. The persona is significant to the main topic of Jung's explanation of the dark side of pleasure because it often filters our motivations and desires to align with socially acceptable norms. While the persona can help individuals navigate complex social landscapes by curbing instincts and desires that might not be socially acceptable, it can also suppress genuine feelings and deeper desires, creating an internal conflict. This conflict often leads to a shadow part of our personality that might become fixated on the very pleasures that are outwardly denied, leading to hidden compulsions or indulgences. Two real-world applications exemplify this mediation of pleasure. Consider the professional who projects an image of stoicism and self-control, but in private struggles with unacknowledged desires for leisure or indulgence. Their persona restricts personal pleasure for the sake of professional respectability, leading to potential burnout or secret escapades that are disconnected from their public self. Another example is the socially conservative individual who might present an image of traditional values, but privately enjoys activities or entertainment that contradict those very values. Here, the persona conceals true desires, causing cognitive dissonance and potentially unhealthy secret behaviors. Analysts supporting this idea point out that the persona's mediation can be seen as both a protector and an inhibitor. It protects individuals from societal judgment, but may also inhibit authentic self-expression, which can lead to an internalized conflict between genuine desires and societal expectations. Challenges to this concept stem from contemporary domains, such as positive psychology, which might argue that authentic self-expression and the pursuit of pleasure should align more closely, ultimately enhancing personal well-being without the rigid filter of a persona. Additionally, some critics argue that modern social dynamics allow for more authenticity than in Jung's time, thus challenging whether the persona truly suppresses desires today. This connection between the persona and the dark side of pleasure influences other aspects of Jung's psychology, notably the shadow, the part of our unconscious housing these suppressed desires. Understanding how the persona mediates pleasure can illuminate the reasons behind these hidden, sometimes darker aspects of our personality, encouraging a more balanced and integrated sense of self.